This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
And welcome everybody to episode 62 of the Animanicast.
It's Halloween and we're on the scene. Gonna fill up on candy till we turn green. On Halloween, who needs protein? It's Halloween.
It's Halloween, we got it.
And welcome once again to another episode of the Animanicast. We are the only podcast out there that is dedicated to the animated series Animaniacs. Here we explore the series episode by episode, revisiting all the cultural references and gags, and in the end, we give each episode a water tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me once again from Los Angeles is my brother Nathan.
You're a smarty every day, Nathan. Yes, I am.
And across the country in Georgia, it's Kelly.
Hi.
So today we are talking about a very spooky episode of Animaniacs. Ooh, it's a Halloween episode. And we, for once, are actually doing this at an appropriate time of the year. This is the first time it's actually synced up where it makes sense.
Yeah, even though it didn't air at a time that's made sense, but
we'll get to that in a minute. Yes. So we make more sense this time than the Animaniacs did when it originally aired. So take that, everybody. Okay. So anyway, well, today we are going to be discussing the segments Scare, Happy, Slappy, Which One? And then, of course, the Warners are back one more time with a reading from MacBeth. The witch scene, of course, since this one is Halloween and all. But what do you guys think? In a few words, if we were to say something about this episode, what would you say? Nathan?
Which episode?
And Kelly, what about you?
It was creepy, kooky, mysterious, and ooky.
Ooh, okay. Well, before we get into our discussion, Nathan, tell us, when did this episode first premiere?
So this episode premiered on Tuesday, May 3rd, 1994, which, of course, is Halloween. No. It's the 29th Academy of Country Music Awards, with winners Garth Brooks, Vince Gill, and Winona. Later this week, Courtney Love would be cleared of drug charges. Nelson Mandela and the ANC confirmed the winner in South America's first post-apartheid election. And Walt Disney's Three Ninjas Kick Back is released.
Oh, the really
Go Ninja.
good one.
Oh, wait.
That's the other one. No, not Go Ninja.
Ninja Turtles.
It would have been a better movie if it did involve the Ninja Turtles. But no.
Those are four ninjas, so...
Yes. The Three Ninjas. Boy, oh boy. I don't remember watching 10 minutes of those movies. It was so not what I was interested in.
I love Three Ninjas. I thought it was really cute.
What about Three Ninjas Kick Back?
No, I was over it by then.
Well, I suppose, we gotta talk about something, Nathan.
Last week's.
Well, technically, last week we talked to Tom Ruger once again, and we will be talking with Tom Ruger very soon again. So, folks, send in your questions to Animaniacs creator and senior producer Tom Ruger for our further discussion. So we'll be talking to him in a few weeks. But a couple weeks ago, we made an oversight. We didn't really make a mistake of any kind. Well, I guess you could call it a mistake. But it was an oversight. So Nathan, tell us, what did we forget to talk about on episode 61?
Yeah, so we mentioned that Thumbelina was released within the between episodes 60 and 61. We did not mention, however, that I'm Mad was featured before Thumbelina started, which I didn't know that. So
yeah, well, it was featured kind of like the same thing like called the Roger Rabbit cartoons,
yeah, it's like a little short in front of it. Kind of thing.
Before that, and I totally forgot about that. I remember hearing it a few times, like, oh yeah, that's right. But none of us had ever seen the movie Thumbelina. So I think that's part of the problem, that we never really caught into that. Like, oh yeah, that movie. And it's Don Bluth.
That's a movie we have to see.
Well, I don't know about that. But Kelly, we were talking about it like it's Don Bluth, and neither one of us had seen it, and we all like Don Bluth animation.
No, I love Don Bluth.
Yeah, but that was just a movie that I don't know, kind of went by. Do you remember hearing about I remember a few like hazy memories. I think.
What year did it come out?
94.
Yeah, see, I was really into movies, but you know what? I mean, I didn't have a car and I didn't have a job because I was in high school. So, I didn't go to the movies that much. And I was probably in that age where I was too cool to go. Well, no, I wasn't too cool to go see a cartoon at the movies because I saw Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. So, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't go see it.
Yeah.
I saw Anastasia when it came out, and that was only a few years later.
Well, and that's funny because Anastasia is just an awesome film, and I don't know, Thumbelina is just like the Don Bluth film that everyone forgets about, but I do seem to poor Thumbelina, but she's but yeah, I do seem to remember some commercials where they would talk about, come see Thumbelina and then watch the, before Thumbelina starts and see the short I'm Mad. And obviously it's an awesome song and it's, featured in, I think it was featured in the first soundtrack, right? The I'm Mad song.
Yeah.
It's such a great song. And like we talked with Tom Ruger last week, you could see like the connections right there to having 3 kids in the car. With his sons versus Yakko, Wacko, and Dot in that car. So I don't know. It's a cool short. We'll be talking about, of course, when it features again on the cartoon show. But we totally missed it. Okay, so sorry about that. Next time there's an Animaniacs short before a movie, we'll make sure we won't miss it. Right?
Wait, can't guarantee that.
I don't think there was any other ones, so that's good.
Well. I don't know that for sure.
Well, do you remember, Nathan? I remember seeing Roger Rabbit shorts before movies. Did you ever remember going to the theater and watching any cartoons before the movie starts?
Just Pixar movies.
Just the Pixar ones? Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get into our discussion. And we're going to start off with, I guess, some little bits of filler. Let's start off with some Randy Beeman stuff.
Hey, this is Colin, voice of Randy Beeman's pal from Animaniacs, and you're listening to the Animanicast.
Okay, bye.
So, in today's episode, we have 3 different Randy Beeman segments. The first one, Colin was holding a live frog, and he's like trying to put it in his hat and everything like that while he's talking. And he's talking about Randy Beeman. Colin's talking about Randy Beeman's encounter with Dracula.
One time Randy Beeman woke up at night and he saw Dracula, but he thought it wasn't Dracula, just some clothes hanging up. Then he turned on the light and it really was Dracula.
Very spooky. And the second one was Colin was playing with a yo-yo and he's trying to do tricks. And of course he's messing up completely. And this was about Randy Beeman's mom's best friend was trying to get a tan. And what happened? She fried her guts or something like that?
She boiled her guts.
She boiled their guts. Ugh, gross.
Okay, so see, one time Randy Beeman's mom's best friend, whose name is Linda, wanted to get a tan more than anything. So she went to a tanning salon and she stayed in too long and she boiled her guts.
Yeah, it's a rather gross one right there, but there we are.
I thought it was funny.
And then it is very weird. The last Randy Beeman segment that we had was Colin was talking about a scary story.
See, one time Randy Beeman was asleep and he heard a scratch, scratch, scratch on the window. And he woke up and nothing was there. So the next night he heard a scratch, scratch, scratch on the floor. And he woke up and there was nothing there. And so the next night he heard scratch, scratch, scratch on his bed. And he woke up and you know what it was? His mom's Lee press-on nails had come alive and they were after Randy Beeman. Ah!
And of course he screams. Scary. So the scariest Randy Beeman segments we've seen so far. This is it's pretty intense. What do you guys think? What was your favorite Randy Beeman story of those three? Kelly, what do you think?
I like the boiled guts.
And Nathan, what about you?
I think the press on nails.
Yeah, me too. I like it. Just the build up for that, the scratch. I always like that one. So yeah, that's my favorite one there too. So thank you, Colin. And by the way, if you want to, if you're new to the show and you don't know this, go back a few episodes and we actually interviewed Colin Wells, who voiced the little boy Colin. And Colin's a super nice guy. And you should listen to that episode.
Okay, bye.
And finally, there's one other little bit of filler in here, and that is a good idea, bad idea, and it's a nice one. It's good advice, I believe. It's the good idea is going trick or treating on Halloween. The bad idea, of course, is going trick or treating on St. Patrick's Day, and poor Mr. Skullhead gets punched in the face by a guy dressed up as a giant leprechaun. So do not trick or treat on Halloween, everybody. Once again, I don't know. Do we have anything to say about that good idea, bad idea?
I mean, I'm assuming one of them is drunk if it's St. Patrick's Day.
That's maybe both were actually. That explains a lot. Why? Okay, so I guess number 2 is don't knock on the door when you're drunk St. Patrick's Day thinking it's Halloween, whatever. It reminds me like when I used to live by the University of Arizona and I was just sleeping in the middle of the night and this guy was like knocking on my door in the middle of the night. It was just like, what the heck is going on? And he's like pounding on my door and he's like, Jessica! And I was like, there's no Jessica here, dude. Are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, Jessica! I'm like, go away, dude. And here's the weirdest thing. He was dressed as a cow.
Oh, wow.
It made no sense why he was there. It was not Halloween, by the way. This was not Halloween.
Weird.
He was just dressed as a cow, and he was yelling for Jessica, and I told him to go away or I'd call the cops, and then the cow disappeared, just like that. So
Nice. What did Jessica have to say about it?
Well, she was like, hey, who was that? And I was like, nobody. Anyway. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get into our discussion right now of the first cartoon, and it is called Scare Happy Slappy. Scare Happy Slappy was written by John P. McCann. It was directed by Michael Gerard and Jeff Siergi. And Nathan, what the heck happens here in Scare Happy Slappy?
Well, hey, all you Slappy and Skippy fans, we've got a special Halloween episode for you. Skippy wants some more candy, and Slappy wants to go home. So they decide to go one last street, and it happens to be where all the villains live. And they all want to take down Slappy, so they try to defeat her, but all their plans backfire, and they get hurt instead, and Skippy ends up with lots of candy. Happy Halloween!
That's a very good summary right there. Yeah, in a few words, she basically goes to all the villains' house, and they're just not successful killing her, and there you go. But yeah, there are quite a few little references in this right here. First and foremost, Nathan, what is Skippy dressed up as in this one?
Buster Bunny.
Buster Bunny, and I love his little bouncy shoes that he uses while he's talking. And there's other little Animaniacs or Tiny Toon characters kind of walking around as they're going trick-or-treating. You have a girl, I actually thought it was just Elmira just running through those
I thought
streets.
so too.
Yeah, but people are saying that it was a person in an Elmira costume. I don't know. As we'll see in an episode or two, Elmira will be making an appearance, which is super cool. But yeah, she was just kind of walking around. Some people are saying that they saw the Brain also, a kid dressed up as the Brain. And I did see a kid dressed up as a mouse, but I didn't think it was the Brain, but whatever. Anyway, there's a scene where they're, going in front of Walter Wolf's house, and Slappy mentions,
Look, Skippy, it's the opening credits to Scooby-Doo.
Which is very apropos since we just talked with Tom Ruger, who had a background with Scooby-Doo. Not that particular cartoon right there, but still kind of a neat connection, I suppose. And really, I guess the only other little thing I could think off the top of my head right now is Benihana. There's a great joke where Sid the Squid is burnt up to a crisp from all the explosions, and Slappy says,
You remind me of a bad accident at Benihana's.
and I laughed out loud at that one right there. I thought that was
I did too.
Yeah, that was it was just I was not expecting her to say that. She usually says the cartoon reference, and just that little thing. Oh, there's a couple more things I almost forgot about. Tweety Bird makes an appearance. Because what happens there again?
What are scripts good for?
Careful, Aunt Slappy, it's a trap. You'll be blown to smithereens.
Where you getting that cheesy dialogue, Skippy?
From the script.
Skippy, how many times I gotta tell you what a script's for?
For lining the bottom of bird cages.
That's right. Enjoy.
I suppose the only other possible connection to something else might be whenever they showed like the spooky street or a spooky house, they would always have the music kind of go bum bum bum, and whenever I hear that music, I always think of Young Frankenstein, because that happened a lot in that movie. And I would not be surprised if that was a direct, reference musically to Young Frankenstein, since, the writers love Mel Brooks and everything like that. But who knows? Could just be a coincidence, and because it's just, scary music. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What were some of your favorite moments in this one, guys? What were some things that made you laugh? Nathan, let's start with you.
I liked Beanie the Brain Dead Bison. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yes, and you mentioned at the very beginning the line that he said, right?
You're a smarty every day, Beanie. Yes, I am.
And that was similar to, where did you hear that one before?
I've heard it before. I can't remember.
It was Newt. Remember,
okay, that's it.
Remember Newt was like, you're a smarty, Newt. Yes, you are.
You are a smarty every day. Yes, I am.
You know that? And I'm like, okay, so... so that made me think like, okay, so what is this? I don't know what it's referencing at this point now. It could be, it could be him referencing back to the line from Newt, or that line in itself could be referencing a TV show from the 1960s for all I know, or even before. So if anyone knows what that is, that line patter is from, let us know. You can, reach out to us and let us know, because I am curious that it has a deeper origin.
Yeah, and it's a very funny, wording. So
yeah. Kelly, what about you?
I thought it was funny when Slappy said this was going to be more fun than senior night at American Gladiators.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that line. Which that did have a weird image in my head of seniors at playing American Gladiators, which was a show back in the. They tried to renew that, I think, about 10 years ago, and it had not a lot of success. But that was a very popular show back in the early 90s.
Oh yeah, it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But wasn't the one where they would joust and basically beat each other with these big foam?
Yeah, because the whole premise was like you'd have it was kind of like American Ninja Warrior, which I don't know why that show's still on the air, and yet American Gladiators can't get a reboot going that sticks. But yeah, you have like a guy who is the normal guy, and then he's going to face off in the arena against the gladiators, and of course that was a whole thing in the 90s, like with American Gladiators, and then on Nickelodeon they had Guts, I think was what it was called, right?
Well, I was gonna say like American Ninja Warrior seems to be like Double Dare, but without the trivia questions. So it all kind of comes full circle.
Exactly. Well, what are some other moments that guys that you thought were cool?
Oh, she told Skippy not to do the big eye thing.
Oh no, please, Aunt Slappy, just one more street.
Oh, for Pete's sake, you already got more chocolate than Switzerland.
Radio, please.
Oh, all right, but don't do that big eye thing. It scares me. Makes you look like an owl.
Right.
Look like an owl.
Yeah, or an anime character.
Yeah. His eyes were especially big in this. I believe Startoons animated this one, and it was good animation. It had Skippy looks especially cute when the people at Startoons are animating him, I think. And Slappy has her chin just looks extra protrudes a little bit more, and she just looks extra grumpy, I think. So, I don't know. Some good animation.
I thought it was weird that the Animaniacs did 2 songs for
so they
Skippy
did,
and Slappy, basically.
Yeah, well, they open it up for Slappy, right? And then they sing, and then they start off with, hey, we're back.
It's Halloween, yeah. And I want to say that candy corn is disgusting.
Ooh, candy corn.
Spew!
Hey, they're better than the corns on my feet.
Spew and a half!
So
yeah,
It's not.
It is totally. I am with. Oh my god!
It's not my favorite, but
I will pass up on candy corn every time.
We should do that as a poll. Whether it's I'm sure that.
Well, it's the right time of year for that.
I'll put a bonus Animanicast poll out there and ask everybody if Skippy was right. That won't be our official poll, but we'll put it out there anyway, just to say like.
My guess is that 2 out of 5 people like candy corn.
Yeah,
so most of the people don't.
Never tell me the odds.
Yeah, the only person that eats candy corn in our house is our dad. You would just give the candy corn to Dad. He'll eat it.
Yeah,
he'll eat anything.
Mikey,
and his name is Mikey. How?
I was about to say, is that his name?
Yeah, it is.
But Mikey won't eat anything. Is the problem? If you remember the commercial,
that's true. Oh, whatever. Anyway, moving on. Well, a very nice Skippy and Slappy cartoon, getting us off on the Halloween track here for this cartoon. And let's go ahead and move on to the next major segment, and that is Which One? And Which One was written by John P. McCann once again. He got to have 2 Halloween segments in this one. And it is directed by Rusty Mills. Ooh, the scary Rusty Mill. Watch out. Don't go over there, kids. So, Kelly, tell us, what happens in Which One?
Okay. To be perfectly honest, I got really distracted by all the parodying going on. So I didn't even really pay that much attention to the actual plot. But there's guy, I don't know, he's some pilgrimy looking guy. He comes across Rita and thinks she's a witch. So he's going to put her in the water, and if she dies, she's a witch. And if she doesn't die, wait.
Yeah.
I always get this confused.
Yeah, it's the whole thing of back in Salem where he's in Salem. And what's his name here, Nathan? Nathan, do you have his name?
I have him as the judge. Let me
judge.
Look to see if he has an actual.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so yeah, he's going to drown. If you drown the person, and if you put them underwater and you lift them back up and they're not dead, well, they're a witch, and you have to burn them. And
his name is the judge.
The judge. Okay. But then if you do drown them, then you get a written apology.
Yeah. So, and it's so ridiculous. And the water's freezing because there's snow. And I mean, anybody's just going to go ahead and drown. It's ridiculous. So they're trying to determine whether or not Rita is a witch. And Runt gets put in the stocks, and a horse rescues him. But like I said, the thing that really got me is from the very first seconds of the cartoon. I was like, wow, that little town looks like the Quiet Village in Beauty and the Beast. And then the judge starts singing, and I'm like, well, he looks a little bit like Gaston. And then the way the village people sort of stood around, and then he had this conversation with some of them in the middle of the song, and then he says, "Good day, good day, good day." And I was like, "Whoa, this is Beauty and the Beast ripoff, totally."
Good day! Good day! Good day!
The judge is happy when he hunts for a witch. He couldn't find one in a ditch. But if he thinks that you're a witch, he'll burn you up with pitch. A dangerous jerk, the judge.
Because sometimes, for listeners who don't know, Beauty and the Beast is one of my ultimate absolute favorite films in the world. And I saw it like 30 times the first month I had the video when it came out in the 90s. So I know my Beauty and the Beast, and so I thought, well, maybe I'm just seeing it in this cartoon where it's not existing, because I do that sometimes. But no, it's definitely I won't call it a ripoff, but definitely an homage.
Yes.
And then Rita sings a song. So that's the opening song, sort of like Belle, the opening song Belle in the movie, and then Rita sings a song that it's kind of reminiscent of Gaston.
Who can hunt like a cat, not a dog or a bat? Who can stalk a big bird or a rat like a cat? Over creatures that are half as cunning, slick as a greased-up snake. Go and watch any wolf or coyote. They couldn't find fish knee-deep in a lake.
Who hunts cats like the judge? Witches spawn like the judge. Those tools are the devil. Kitty cats like the judge.
Who hunts like a cat?
I hunt down all cats.
We're keen, so that's that.
I hate them like rats.
There's nothing quite like a cat.
Then at the end, when they're wandering off on the winding road, even the instruments sound just like the instruments used in the actual title song, Beauty and the Beast.
So long, Salem, Mass. Time to say bye-bye. I almost got drowned, chased right out of town, boarded my fur fly. Boston, here we come, home of beans and tea. Maybe they need pets, don't take any bets. Still there's you and me.
That sure was pretty, Rita. I hope we don't get sued.
And again, at this point, I'm still kind of, maybe. I'm just still seeing what I want to see. And then Runt goes, this song was really pretty, Rita. Hope we don't get sued. I was like, yes, validation. I'm not crazy. Because it's subtle enough that if you're not really familiar with the movie and the music, I think it could slip by you. It's not really, direct.
Right.
But if you're familiar enough and know the tunes and the instrumentals and different things like that, which I do, it's wow.
Yeah, it's right on the edge of parody, kind of sound alike, just so you get what they're going for, and yeah. It was awesome though. I knew it as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, Kelly's going to want to talk about this one.
And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I'm going to want to talk about this one. But I thought it was a weird mesh. To take Salem, witch trial Salem, and mix it with Beauty and the Beast.
Well, if you don't want to watch The Crucible, if you want to learn about The Crucible, but you want to have a little bit of, musical in between, then here's the cartoon for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the combination is kind of weird. I think you're right on the money, Kelly. It was just basically in pop culture at the time in the early 90s that everyone just knew Beauty and the Beast. This was like the pinnacle of animation. It got nominated for Best Picture. That was the first cartoon that was able to do that. So, a very highly respected cartoon by so many people. So,
well, it's why they have that category now of animated feature.
Yeah. So which is stupid, because then they can't get the cartoons in the Best Picture too. They should be nominated for Best Picture as well. I think it shouldn't be limited to just Best Animated Film, but whatever. That's just my opinion. Other than the Beauty and the Beast references, I mean, you mentioned the horse, Kelly. That horse is
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
It's a horse, of course.
Of course. From Mr. Ed.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ed.
He's the same color as Mr. Ed. Mr. Ed was a show that was, it was back in the 1960s, I think. Maybe 50s, but I'm pretty sure it was more like in the 60s.
They used to rerun it on Nickelodeon, which is when I would, like, Nick at Night, I guess.
Yes, that's when I would watch it too. And the main actor in it, Alan Young, who played Wilbur, would later voice Scrooge McDuck in many cartoons. So there you go. There's a cartoon connection right there. And Alan Young just died just a few years ago. I want to say just 2 or 3 years ago. So he lived into his 90s, and he was still voicing Scrooge McDuck, even on the recent revamp they did of the DuckTales video game, where they did brand new they did brand new animation for it and everything. Alan Young came back and did his voice for that and everything.
You don't get around much, do you, Wilbur? The humans are going to dunk your little friend into the river.
Oh, boy. Why would they do that?
Beats me. If they aren't dunking horses, I don't care.
Gotta help Rita.
Look out now, Wilbur.
Thanks, horse. Good horse. Gotta save Rita.
Anyone asks how you got free, tell them a cow did it.
Okay, so that's pretty much it when it comes to references. Oh, wait, no, there was Witch Hazel. The witch was in there. Yeah, from Looney Tunes. So
the scene where they were dunking Rita did remind me of the witch scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
It did a little bit. With that one was the woman who had a carrot on her nose or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was so much a reference because, I mean, that was inspired by real life events anyways, but because I'm so familiar with that movie and it's funny, I was like, now I'm thinking about that scene in the Holy Grail.
So I don't know how accurate the episode was. No, I'm just saying that there was no witch burnings in Salem. I wanted to say that.
Ooh, okay.
No, so there you go. But
I think
they were hung, right?
They were hung.
Yeah, lots of hangings.
And they crushed some people with rocks, I think, too. They just put rocks.
I think one person got crushed with rocks. And
I was in the Crucible in high school. I should remember more of this stuff. I don't remember.
I read the book or the play.
Yeah.
I read the book and watched the movie.
I was Putnam in the play. I was in the first act because I only had drama 1 period, not 2, so I could only be in the first act.
Oh wow!
But I was in it. I had my scene and I left. I just was there enough. I was there long enough to accuse somebody of being a witch and then left, never to be seen again. Got out of Salem. Anyway, all right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things up with one last segment. Unless wait, Nathan, do you have anything else to say about this?
I was in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
who'd you play?
I was Cogsworth.
Oh.
Yeah.
I auditioned one time for community theater, and I mean, they just said it was open to anybody over the age of 18. They didn't say you actually had to have singing and dancing experience. But I had been in ballet and tap as a kid, and I had taken chorus, but I was older than everybody else there because it was high schoolers in drama, and they were hardcore. And I was like, I just want to be the enchantress who like walks across the stage and waves a wand and then walks off. But no, I didn't get cast. I just wanted to be part of the production, though.
Oh well. If any touring productions of Beauty and the Beast are needed of an enchantress or heck, even a fork in the background, Kelly will take you up on it. She'll just email Kelly at bigshinyrobot.com. Okay. Well, that looks like it's probably our last Rita and Runt cartoon as well. So
yep.
Yeah, at least they went out on a high note, I think. This was a very good one.
I see what you did there.
Well, it wasn't even intentional. Actually, no pun intended, but I will I will take it. So let's go ahead and move on to our last segment here, a very Shakespearean one, because it is Shakespearean, and it is Macbeth. And Macbeth, the commentary on this was written by Deanna Oliver, and it was directed by Michael Gerard and John McClanahan. And it's William Shakespeare, of course, had a big hand in this, because this is the Shakespeare's scene from Shakespeare's Macbeth with the three witches. And basically the Dot, Hello, Nurse, and Slappy are acting as the three witches, not the wishes, but they're throwing stuff into a big giant pot. And Yakko is translating this time, because Dot, of course, is one of the witches. I should say Wacko is throwing the stuff in the pot, because the witches just stir. They have their lines and they stir.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Loosely translated, that means abracadabra.
Fill it of a fenny snake in the cauldron, boil and bake.
Let's cook a snake. Start with my agent.
Some of the things that they throw in are the Eye of Newt. They throw in Minerva's Newt, the dog Newt from the Minerva cartoon. The toe of frog was Michigan J. Frog. The wool of bat was Batman, of course. Tongue of dog, you have to throw in Buttons, which I really felt bad for poor Buttons. The scale of dragon, I think it might have been the dragon from, Sir Yaxalot. So
The dragon!
Thank you. And of course, there was Tooth of Wolf. They had Walter Wolf was in it. So there was our little cameos right there. Other than that, I don't. There was one little weird reference here. One of the lines is like saying, "Gig in the dark is a gas" or something. What do they say?
Yeah.
So one of the witches says,
"Dig in the dark,"
and then Yakko says,
"Dig in the dark is a gas, baby, can't you dig it?"
I was going, what is that about? And I was pretty confused. Apparently it's referencing the song Grazing in the Grass, which has not the same tune at all to it. Here, let me pull it up here real quick.
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So okay. So that has not the same tune at all from what Yakko was saying. Obviously, totally different tempo, but maybe he should have said, "Dig in the dark is a gas, baby, can you dig it?" But whatever. That's that. If that is a connection, there you go. I'm going off a chart here, folks. I don't know if I agree with all these connections, but anyway. What do you guys think about this? This is our last Shakespeare one, I believe. Nathan, Kelly, what do you guys think about this? What were some moments you thought were funny?
Well, I thought it was a very straightforward translation of, there's nothing to translate in this. I wish they chose a better Shakespeare segment.
I mean, it made sense for this particular one because it's witches and Halloween and everything, but we did get to see a nice surprise at the end.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something scary this way comes.
Oh, lady! I know a lady with high heel shoes and socks and pantyhose. A pretty lady!
So they popped it. They popped the top
too
in
soon.
Too soon. Oh yeah, but that's true. Jerry Lewis has passed recently, but yeah, that was kind of cool. Although the animation on him was horrible. You notice that?
Yeah, it seemed like the animation changed right when he came out of the pot.
Yeah, his mouth was not synced up. Yeah, the
weird.
It started off okay, and then by the end they were just it seemed like the animators were like, "We're done."
Yeah, I think they got a different animation studio or something to do that last.
Or just one different animator. Whoever animated Jerry Lewis or Mr. Director didn't do the best job.
It was almost like one of those segments that they have before a cartoon starts, where I thought that it was just it's our next cartoon. So I wonder if that was their original idea.
Yeah, that's what I almost thought too. Yeah, they were looking in it like, what is it? And I thought the same thing, Nathan. I thought they were going to say, it's our next cartoon. But I thought, no, it's too late in the show for that. So
yeah.
It can't be.
So I wonder if that was the original idea. And instead they got a different animation team to do with Jerry Lewis coming out. And that's why it looks so weird.
Maybe. Well, now that we have our connection with Tom Ruger, maybe he can check his notes and he can find out. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can't see it, obviously, being an audio podcast, but Tom has this folder. This is like a huge binder of Animaniacs scripts and notes and all this stuff that he's anxious to share with us. So who knows? Maybe there is some sort of note in there, perhaps. We might just find out. That might be some research involved with that one. Kelly, anything you liked in this last segment?
Well, I liked when they started to, say their little boil, toil, and trouble, and Yakko said basically they're saying abracadabra, and then later in the episode he said bibbidi bobbidi boo, which of course is another Disney reference, so I love that. And I also noticed, I think Dot says something scary this way comes, but I think the line's actually something wicked this way comes.
Oh.
There was a Rush Limbaugh mention in the episode,
That's
too.
True.
For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble.
Stir until bored, serves 12. Unless you're Rush Limbaugh, then it's an appetizer.
There were a lot of fat jokes of Rush Limbaugh back in the 90s. Now, of course, he lost weight. Now he's not a thin guy these days, but he's not as big as he was in the early 90s. Yeah, there we go. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things up. I think it's time for our water tower rating. So what do you guys think? Out of 5 water towers, how many water towers would you give today's episode? Nathan, let's start with you.
Ooh, it's a tough one. I think I'll give it 3 water towers, and only because I found out what's in a hot dog.
And Kelly, what about you?
I think I will go for 3.5 because I really like the Beauty and the Beast references, and overall it was a really good episode. It's just the Slappy one, it wasn't as funny as some of the Slappy ones have been, but I did like the overall theming of the episode, very Halloween-y, and it was just fun. And the Randy Beeman segments were hilarious.
Yeah. I'll give it a 3.5. There's a lot of content in this one. It was good stuff. Nice theming, like you said. And one additional thing that I really liked and I didn't mention was that the voice of the farmer in the town, I think he's the guy with the beard, I think, was voiced by none other than Bill Mumy, who, if you don't know who he is, well, he was the little kid in the original Lost in Space episodes, and he was in a bunch of Twilight Zone episodes. Like he was the kid who was like the cursed kid who would like curse people into TV sets and stuff like that. And he was also one of the singers in the great group Barnes and Barnes, who sing, among other things, the song Fish Heads. So there you go. Bill Mumy. Our friend Jason Glady met him over at Phoenix Comic-Con a few years ago. I think he's in Babylon 5 or something, but he was just meeting him because he's a fan of Barnes and Barnes, and that was the only reason. So anyway, Bill Mumy was in this episode. Well, before we close everything up, I think it's time for our poll results from last week. And let me just see if I can pull those. Oh, no. It's off to the announcer to give us our poll results.
Woo!
Hello again, it's your announcer with another Animanicast Twitter poll result. Listeners were asked, which of these is your favorite Mindy and Buttons cartoon on hashtag Animaniacs? Hashtag Animanicast poll. 11% said, what a dump. 23% said, super buttons. 32% said astro buttons, but it was the French foreign film Le Bâton et la Ballon which won this poll with 34%. So there you go. The French win the gold medal. And now it's off to the studio with this week's poll.
All right, so those were our poll results. Thank you so much, Mr. Announcer Guy. Anyway, so Nathan, Kelly, what was your favorite Mindy and Buttons? Nathan, start with you.
All right, well, I liked the Astro Buttons. That's the one I voted for.
Astro Buttons?
And yeah, because it's the last one of the chronology of Mindy and Buttons. So it's the final episode. He quits at the end. Everything, it's great for him. So there you go.
That's true. It was in the future. It had to be the last one chronologically, and he quit.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, Nathan. Very good. So. Nice one. What about you, Kelly?
I liked Le Bouton and La Ballon.
Uh-huh. And
just because I loved all the French in it, and it was a very, very different episode, and even though it was in French, it was still kind of easy to understand because Buttons and Mindy cartoons are very have limited dialogue, and so I just thought it was fun.
All right, and that's the one I picked as well, Le Bâton et la Ballon, and I'll just give you 2 words why. Well, I'll give you 3 words why. French baby plucky. That's why that one's the best one right there, because he's just super cute in that, and that just automatically in my mind pushes that one to the top. So there we go. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to this poll for this week. Nathan, what do we got?
All right, so we just had our 4th Skippy and Slappy cartoon. So the question is, which is our favorite of those Skippy and Slappy cartoons? I shouldn't say it's the 4th one, but it's the 4th one since our last poll. Anyways, so the choices are Frontier Slappy, Smell You Later, Woodstock Slappy, and Scare Happy Slappy. I have no idea which of these is going to win.
I think if I were a betting man, I think...
Well, we'll find out. So Frontier Slappy is the one where the guy was cutting down all the trees. What is it, Paul Revere?
Oh,
or something?
yeah. No, it was Daniel Boone. That was a
Daniel
good one.
Boone.
Daniel
and Smell You
Boone.
Later was the stinky one of Tom Ruger's favorite. It was Stinky Dog, and then the Woodstock Slappy is Who's on Stage, and then Scare Happy Slappy from the Halloween episode today.
I vote for Woodstock Slappy.
I know.
Next week.
We'll have to find out what you voted for next week. Well, she's putting in her vote early. Vote early, vote often. And you can vote by going to twitter.com/Animanicast or simply search on Twitter for #Animanicast poll, and you can make your voice heard. All right. Well, folks, it looks like it is time to shut everything up for this week. So... before we do, let's go ahead and get to some contact information. Nathan, where can people get in contact with you?
Hey, folks, go to Twitter. I'm there. I have so many friends, but you can be one of them. Django FT, that's me.
And how many friends do you have on there, Nathan?
I don't know. Too many to count. Like maybe 30?
Wow.
Probably not that many.
Okay, that's pretty
20,
good.
25? I don't know, something like that.
That sounds great. So there you go. Join the club, everybody. And Kelly, what about you?
You can reach me, Kelly, at BigShinyRobot.com, or I'm on Twitter, YODAPRNCSS, Yoda Princess.
All right. And as for us, for the Animanicast, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, and hey, you can also email us as well, which is animanicast@retrozap.com. And speaking of retrozap.com, you should head on over to retrozap.com because it has a fantastic, every day is a new article on there. And every day we have brand new podcasts, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Case Files, The ArgCast, Beltway Banthas, Brews and Blasters, Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics, The Deucecast Movie Show, Dorklair, Doomcast, Green Justice, an Arrow podcast, Kanata's Castle, The Sandcrawler, Scarlet Velocity, a Flash podcast, Skywalking Through Neverland, Starship Sabers and Scoundrels, Talking Apes TV, Techno Retro Dads, Peregrine Dreams, the Trade Federation, and We Know Nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, our podcast network is growing by leaps and bounds. And if you are a fan of any of those topics, then you know what you should do. You should just subscribe to the Retro Zap feed on iTunes. You can get every one of those podcasts delivered to your device for free, including this one. So it's so easy. So do it. Anyway, so for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds of the Animaniacs characters or any other Animaniacs-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Warner Brothers, Amblin Entertainment, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Okay, bye.